The trade deadline is right around the corner, and there are more New York Knicks trade rumors to discuss. We're going to talk about Jericho Sims and Mitchell Robinson on today's show, as it sounds like a trade is going to happen. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, though. 1, so you never miss a thing. 2, so you get free, informative, entertaining updates every day. 3, the best place on YouTube to watch a live Knicks game. And help us out. Help a fellow diehard Knicks fan out to get to 60,000 subscribers. We're 507 Knicks fans away from getting there. So if you bleed orange and blue and you want to help us out, hit that sub button right now. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's start with Jericho Sims. As for a while now, it sounds like the New York Knicks have been trying to trade the 26-year-old big man, and it sounds like one could be coming. Tim Bontemps of ESPN tweeting this out just moments ago. The Knicks are expected to move center Jericho Sims in a deal before tomorrow's trade deadline. Sims, who's 26, is on a $2 million expiring contract and could wind up on one of the several teams that have expressed interest in acquiring him. Also, Ian Begley on his show earlier today said that a Jericho Sims trade remains likely. And it has seemed like for a while that the New York Knicks are going to make any type of trade. It's not going to be a major move at this point. Sounds like it's going to be Jericho Sims going out. And the question is, what would the New York Knicks be acquiring? Look, I appreciate everything Jericho has done in his career for the New York Knicks. Not a guy that has ever been known to stuff the stat sheet, but for a plug-and-play player, for a guy that was like the last pick in the second round, for someone that competes the way he does, I'm actually appreciative of what he's done for the Knicks. He's a dirty work player. He's a guy that Tom Thibodeau once raved about. I don't know if he'll ever reach the ceiling Tibbs thought he once had, but for a third center, you can do a lot worse in the NBA. He's an athletic freak. He has a presence as a rim roller. He is someone that can jump out of the gym. He could block some shots, but he's a negative on offense. And really, I just don't think has the necessary skill to be a high minute getter in the NBA. Which leads me to this question. What exactly can the New York Knicks get back for Jericho Sims? What do they even think they are getting back for Jericho? Sounds like a couple teams are interested in him. We talked a couple of weeks ago about the Rockets being a team that was interested. Reports also came out from Stephen Bonnie today that the Dallas Mavericks were interested before they pivoted to Anthony Davis, which, no, it does not mean the Knicks could have got Luka Doncic. But Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype said this: Jericho Sims has drawn interest from teams including the Lakers, Clippers, and the Milwaukee Bucks. We know the Lakers need another big man after that trade for Luka, where they gave up Anthony Davis. They needed a big man before that. The Clippers, they could use some depth as well as the Milwaukee Bucks. If I had to predict what a trade would look like with Jericho Sims, I think it's going to be a second-round pick coming back. Maybe there's a player out there that the Knicks identify at $2 million that would benefit this team. I don't know. I think it's a second-round pick most likely coming back. That way you fall $2 million more under that second apron. You can go out and sign maybe a veteran on your G League team like Warren, like we've talked about, and you can be a little bit more aggressive in the buyout market. We talked about a tweet or an article, a couple of weeks ago from James L. Edwards III of The Athletic. Give him a follow. Read his stuff. He does great work. He talked about a Javonte Green trade for the New York Knicks. Jericho going to New Orleans and Javonte Green coming back. Their salaries match up, and you'd be able to get that deal done. Green is an athletic wing, older, no doubt, at 31 years old. It's like if Josh Hart had a son and then that son had a Josh Hart. Like, he has a little bit of Josh Hart in him with the energy, the effort, an elite rebounder for an undersized guard. This is a guy that's had to scratch and claw for every minute of his NBA career. And I remember last year when he was on the Bulls, he actually had a pretty good couple of games against this team. I think he had like 15 rebounds in one game. He could play in the dunker spot. He'd give you another wing. I don't think you should play him too much, but at the end of the day, we're talking about trying to acquire someone on the same talent level as Jericho Sims, and I'm not sure that's going to move the needle too much for the Knicks. What do you think? Are they going to make a trade before the deadline? Begley and Bontemps are kind of hinting that a deal with Sims is going to get done. They're probably looking for a team that's willing to give them a couple of second-round picks or a singular second-round pick. Why for yes and for no? Do you think a deal gets done? Coming up next, we're going to break down the latest on Mitchell Robinson. Ian Begley spoke on his show, The Putback on SNY, about what he thinks is going to happen with Robinson. I thought it was very interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. First, though, if you're looking to get tickets to go to a Knicks game this year, you want to go to the big game coming up on Sunday, maybe there's a concert or a theater event you want to get to, download the GameTime app, use our promo code ChatSports, and you can get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. I think GameTime is the best ticketing app for a long list of reasons. One, they get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Two, prices drop as the events get closer. Three, the app is super easy to navigate, and they make it really, really easy to decide which ticket you want because they offer views from inside the app from the seats, so you get to decide which ticket you want. The app will alert you with a flash and push notification when flash deals are going on, and awesome features like game time picks that make it that much more easy to go see your favorite people or team perform, as well as the all-in pricing feature right there. Push all-in pricing, push game time picks, and it's going to make it that much easier to go see your favorite people perform and make sure you get the best deal possible. So download the app, create an account, use that promo code ChatSports. It's CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. What time is it? It is game time. Support the show, support the sponsor. Again, not just sporting events, you're going to concerts, theater events, and so much more. All righty. Ian Begley and SNY. I took this quote from the SNY Knicks videos, so I want to credit them and Ian Begley, and I don't want to mix up anybody's words, so I just took exactly what the tweet said. SNY and Ian Begley. The Knicks are, quote, not talking about a Mitchell Robinson trade. Begley went on to say, I don't think there is anything there. And we know the New York Knicks have been shopping him for quite some time. Almost 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row, the New York Knicks have shopped Mitchell Robinson. We also broke down a report earlier this week following that AD and Luka trade that the Los Angeles Lakers were a team that was interested in acquiring the offensive rebounding big man. Translation, though, to I don't think there's anything there. The New York Knicks have not found a team that they think has a similar evaluation of trade value of Mitch that they do. I don't think he has any trade value right now across the NBA at his $14.3 million salary. Why is that? Because trading for Robinson is a big risk. We haven't seen him play basketball in almost a year. He had 2 major ankle surgeries in the last 12 months. This is someone that didn't really look the same after he came back last season. I think he came back premature, and that is why that happened. But this guy hasn't played more than 60 games in an NBA season more than twice in the last 5 years. One time he's played more than 60 games in 5 seasons. The injury issues are a major concern for the Knicks, for me, and for, I'm sure, every other team across the association. Look, if Mitch is healthy, that'll be a big boost to this Knicks team. Has recently been cleared for contact. He's slowly starting to ramp up what he could do in practice. Not so sure if he's going to be ready to go anytime soon, but it sounds like he is going to play this year, and it could be sooner rather than later like we initially thought. Brian Windhorst talked about the Knicks may view Mitchell Robinson being back healthy and playing as their big trade line acquisition. And if he is healthy and he does play, it will be a big boost. He's had some really nice moments and some really nice years in the NBA. But it's been kind of a while. As you see, he hasn't played more than 60 games in each, more than one time in the last 4 years. 31 games played. Played every game in 2022, but just 59 games last year and 30 games this year. We know how special he is on the offensive glass. 4 straight years of more than 4.5 offensive rebounds per game. 4 straight seasons of more than 1.2 blocks per game. Last year before the injury, I thought it was his best season defensively. But then he got hurt. And my question that I have is, does the Mitchell Robinson that we saw in the 2023 playoffs against the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he dominated Jared Allen and he dominated the young Evan Mobley, does that Mitchell Robinson still exist? He was so good in that series. 8 points per game, 9.8 rebounds, 5.8 offensive rebounds per game. In the series clinching game against the Cavs, he had like 11 offensive rebounds, 18 rebounds in total. He dominated that game. Over 2.2 blocks and over 1.2 steals per game. The guy was averaging 3.5 stocks per game in 28.3 minutes. He was a physical presence out there. He was awesome. Does that guy still exist? Does that guy still reside on the New York Knicks bench? Does he still have that type of motor, athleticism, and durability? I hope so, but I worry about his long-term health. Anytime you talk about a 7-footer having a foot injury and then having 2 foot injuries, and then you talk about him continuously being hurt, that's not good. I want him to be healthy. I want him to succeed because if he is healthy, he's going to help the New York Knicks succeed, and they could be a serious threat, more serious than they already are. And having him off the bench gives them another way that they can win basketball games. And just like prize fighters, great NBA teams can win games in multiple ways. Having Mitch can lead you to being a dominant offensive rebounding team, which they were in the most recent game we saw. We saw them dominate on the glass. Hopefully that guy in Mitchell Robinson still exists. I also just wanted to update you guys on what's going on across the NBA. An official trade has happened, and it's a trade target, or was a trade target for a long time for the New York Knicks. Jonas Valanciunas has been traded to the Sacramento Kings for 2 second-round picks, which tells me the New York Knicks could have traded Mitchell Robinson and a second-round pick for Jonas Valanciunas if they wanted to. Not saying they should. Not saying they should have not. I'm just saying I think that would have got it done. So a big man no longer available for trade for the New York Knicks. We're going to see what happens here in the next 24 hours or so. Make sure you are following me on social media. That's the first place you'll hear about a New York Knicks trade. Instagram, _, Twitter, _. Hit me up, and let's go Knicks.